Good morning, senior home business community. Got Brittany and Matt here today. Sorry, we're about 13 minutes late, but we are live. We're doing some business offline and talking about all kinds of different things. And Brittany, we keep talking about the senior referral business, senior placement business, helping seniors at no cost, no obligation, all these different ways we say it. I mean, God, is it really worth doing this business? I mean, come on, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, there was a hesitation in your voice. Why was there hesitation?
No. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. We talk about all the good stuff. We're going to dig into some more good stuff today, ways that seniors can have help with affording assisted living things, because we all know there's no secret that assisted living is expensive.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into long-term care insurance and how it pays for assisted living. So that's the reason you clicked on the thumbnail, clicked on this video. So we want to dive right into it, but kind of get business out of the way real quickly. And I hate these long intros because I'll turn off a video. So please stay with me. But here it is real quick. If you want to know more about the Senior Placement Institute and what we do and how we do it, from working out of our house and making the money we do and helping seniors at no cost, just click the link down below, schedule a consultation, or you can just join a free online group. If you want to listen to a podcast, we just started that a few weeks ago. You can do all that. But anyway, that's enough of the PR stuff. Let's get into the meat of the video. That's why you're here. We're going to get into types of long-term care. Oh, no, I hit the long one. The wrong click there. Does long-term care insurance cover assisted living? So we're going to go through 5 different things today, you guys. We're going to go through some of the policies that are out there. We're going to go, how long does long-term care pay for the care? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the eligibility questions. So stay with us, because not everyone is eligible to get long-term care. We're going to talk about when is the best time to get into it. And yours truly, well, not yours truly, Brittany over there, the girl in the purple, she's already got long-term care. And I don't even have it yet. And I'm 55. So, but I need to go ahead and get that, I guess. But that's probably my whole mindset, Brittany, is that I don't really want to go.
You're not going.
So I want to stay home as long as possible, but need to go ahead and get that. When does long-term care start paying? That's another great question. You want to stay with us because it does not pay immediately. You might think it does. And then how much does long-term care cost? We're going to go through the cost of it. So we're going to pull up an article, Brittany, up here, and let's go through some of the policies that we have here. And so we're going to drop down here, insurance policy. Here's some of the policies, you guys, that are out there. Obviously, there's individual policies. And long-term care insurance, guys, is very different today than it was 40, 50 years ago. I assume it was available 40, 50 years ago. Don't quote me, but they've been available for a long time. And how I know that is, 6, 7, going on 7 years ago, I was with assisted living community, and I started noticing long-term care. And I noticed during that time, Brittany, that people had this policy. It was forever. In perpetuity. Is that how you say that word? It was forever. Now you can't get a policy like that. I don't believe. I'm pretty sure that's atypical. But there's individual policies that are out there. There's group policies and there's association policies of people just coming together, non-employer association, and you could do that kind of thing. But that is the where I'm all over the place here. Am I? Okay, types of long-term care insurance policy. This is the downside, guys. You're kind of being the guy behind the scenes and the guy on camera too. You're doing all the clicking and doing all the talking. But that's the kind of types that you have out there. But I want to get into, Brittany, because I know most of our audience is more concerned about how long long-term care insurance pays for the care. What do you got on that? Help us out with that.
Yes, it's really going to depend on the policy. I've seen lots of different policies working in this industry. I've seen policies that maybe have like a cap at $250,000. I've seen 2 years. So I've seen it be a financial, like basically a number monetarily, like $250,000. Like you mentioned, I've seen policies that do go for a lifetime. My clients that have those are typically in their 90s or upper 90s. That I think they sold those. Don't correct us if we're wrong, but years and years ago, when long-term care basically probably first came out or was kind of new, they were selling those policies. Or I've seen somewhere it says when you start the policy, let's say it's 2 calendar years, 5 calendar years, whatever it might be. So every policy is really different. I'd say the average that I see, I would say is probably like 200 to 500,000, 250,000 to 500,000 is like the monetary amount that I usually see. And that just depends on where you're at, what services you're getting, how long that policy will last.
Man, that's wow. And how long the insurance will pay for care. I think in this article, it says somewhere about 2.5, 3 years, thereabouts.
No.
That's not a long time, especially when you're talking about females live longer typically than males. And I tease my wife about this all the time. I was like, hey, you're gonna be in high heels at 95 years old, and I'm already gone. So we need to make sure you're hooked up. But man, that is such a difficult thing to plan, right? No one knows the day or the hour when you're going to leave this earth, right? But you're getting long-term care insurance, and it's going to help the blow. It's going to help the initial shock of payment. But we don't want you to think that this right here is going to be the savior of your financial problems when it comes to assisted living, because it's not. You're looking at on average 2.5 to 3 years of coverage. And then Brittany, then what? What happens then when the long-term care runs out?
No different than if you didn't have it. So you either have to come up with private pay funds to pay for the assisted living, and or you have to, look at different resources that we talk about. There's not many out there. So look at different resources or essentially move. There's unfortunately that's the situation. Just as a side note, I did some math. If you have a policy at $250,000 and the average cost of assisted living is around $5,000 nationwide, that gives you right at 4 years. That's not including any extra care charges. That's not including, anything that goes into that. So that seems to be right on.
Man.
But yeah, it doesn't cover everything. And I would say even in my experience in my markets, $5,000 is a very reserved number for assisted living, depending on, some care needs and things. And I know that we'll talk about in this article. It also covers like long-term care skilled nursing, which is like $8,000 to $9,000 to $10,000 per month. So that $250,000 can go very quick, or that 2 to 3 years.
Incredible. Well, let's get into the eligibility part of it. And so, I mean, not everyone can be accepted in this program, right? Not everyone can be accepted with long-term care. I mean, we might want to. This article also says, which probably goes without saying, that it becomes increasingly difficult to be accepted after the age of 70. So I've received that question several times over the years, Brittany, where somebody is like 80 years old and the family like, well, can we go ahead and get long-term care insurance? Yeah. And I get the concept. I mean, hey, you want to go and start paying and get in, but it just doesn't, it's difficult to get in as far as you being eligible. It's almost back in the day. Now, Brittany, this is way before your time, but back in the day when I first started driving, oh my gosh, I was back in the 80s, Brittany, during a time in Virginia where you can actually drive the car and it was optional to have auto insurance or not. Optional. So, but I mean, people would do that. Then they get in a wreck. And then what happens is they go, oh man, I need to go get me some insurance. Well, that's kind of late in the game to get insurance, right? It wouldn't be possible. So same with long-term care. You get to a certain age, you're just not eligible. So go through some of these things here. You might not qualify for long-term care insurance. If any of the following are true, you already use long-term care. Obviously, I don't think you can get 2 policies. Brittany, I've never heard of that. You currently need assistance with ADLs. Ooh, so if you're already AL qualified, this may disqualify you from long-term care insurance. Is that true, Brittany?
Yes. Yeah, you essentially, the goal for insurance is for you to be healthy, apply for this for the future, not necessarily, like you mentioned, apply for it when you need it. It's more of a future planning situation.
It's kind of like life insurance. I can't get it after I'm passed away.
Yeah.
So my family's taking care of. I got to get it before. Oh, exactly. Shoot.
Like every other insurance, you're paying for the what ifs.
Gotcha. And it goes on and says, if you've had AIDS diagnosis, I didn't know that, Brittany, but hey, I guess there's some medical conditions out there you just won't qualify for. You have dementia or a cognitive impairment, you may not qualify for. Other diseases, Parkinson's disease, you've had a stroke, you've been diagnosed with some form of cancer. I don't know if that's just one particular cancer there, metastatic cancer, or just all cancer. I'm not sure, but that might be difficult in doing that. Why would that be difficult, Brittany, if you already have a medical condition?
In the insurance company's eyes, they're not trying to backtrack, like you said. Like, you don't get in a car accident, then you ask for insurance. So they're wanting you to be healthy. So again, the what if you need the insurance in the future, not, oh my gosh, I need care. Okay, I need to go grab insurance to pay for my care. They want you to be healthy to plan for the future.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into, when does long-term care insurance start paying? Because, man, I would think if I bought into a long-term care insurance policy, that once my mom needs assisted living, they would start to pay immediately. That's not true, is it, Brittany?
No.
And it's not true at all. So it goes into, in this article, talks about the benefit triggers and elimination period, right? So the elimination period is you want to look at that. And it says that elimination period can be often last 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the option selected. So you may have to, as a caring individual of your loved one, might have to pay for assisted living out of pocket for 30, 60, or 90 days. Is that true, Brittany?
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, I'm just a small drop in the bucket, but I would say 90 days is the most common one that I see. 90-day elimination period where essentially either mom or dad has to come up with that money, pull out of, pull out of stocks, pull out of their income, their savings, whatever it is. And then many times I have seen a policy where they do reimburse it. So I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but more than not, it's completely up to you to figure out how to pay for it.
Man, I would like the reimbursement. So you've seen some policies out there that maybe they pay, let's say 90 days and they'll get reimbursed for that. Is that true?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So it's retroactive to the day that they started the policy or basically the initiation. Well,
that provides some light at the end of the tunnel. At least to get that, I would hope, and I would think this would be true with anything, you guys. When you're talking about, any form of policy, insurance policy, or anything you're doing contractually, you want to read the policy, read what's in there, read the fine print, you guys. How many times have you been to the dealership? And I'm guilty of this. I just did it with my car last summer. I didn't read anything. Man, I just told them what kind of car I wanted, went to the dealership, they had it, paid them whatever, and then I walked down. I don't think I paid them anything, actually. It was all done and said we pay later. But I didn't read anything. That's really not the way you want to do, especially with long-term care insurance. And I would encourage you guys to shop around too, right? Shop around. Just because one person or one company is offering a certain policy with certain terms doesn't mean every policy is going to have those same terms. So do your due diligence, just like you would looking for a community for your mom or your dad. Do your due diligence in long-term care insurance. Shop around. I used to be a real estate appraiser back in the day, Brittany, when I was your age. And so, and the reason I bring that up is we always had to get 3 comparables. And so that's always kind of stuck with me all my life, is whenever I get ready to purchase something, maybe not the car situation, but something of significant that I feel like, okay, there could be some differences out there. I always get 3 comparables. So I would encourage my audience today, go out and get 3 comparables of long-term care insurance. So schedule your meeting, call them, do it online, go in person, whatever you do, but get a copy of it, get all the details, and then do that 2 more times, put those 3 together, and then make the best educated decision that you possibly can make, right? So that would be my encouragement in that. So let's get into the last one. How much does long-term insurance cost? Because it's going to be out of pocket, obviously, and it's going to be something you're going to be paying on a monthly basis. Brittany can speak to this more intelligently than I can, because Brittany just turned 28. Did I get that number right, Brittany? She just turned 28, and she's already got long-term care insurance. Yours truly over here at 55 hasn't even got it yet. But what I've learned in this article is, waiting to about 55, 60 is not too bad. So maybe it's being kind to me. I don't know. But Brittany, speak to me a little bit about the cost of long-term care insurance.
Yeah, when I went through it, I mean, like we said, things have definitely changed. So now if you're going into policies, they're totally different than the ones that you're going to see seniors have right now. So my policy is actually a dual policy, and this is really common. It's life insurance and long-term care insurance, which is a new thing they've done. So it's totally different. So like mine, if you're looking at these numbers on this article, is way cheaper. A lot of it has to do with my age. I have no health conditions. So the earlier you get into it, the less you pay. Obviously, you need to do the math to make sure that going in at 28 makes sense, as opposed to going in at 55 on how much you're going to pay over the long stretch. So shopping around, doing the math, I think mine tunes to a whopping $180 a month, where I know some in this article, as you can see, go up to, I have clients that have paid $1,000 a month for 20 years, $1,000 a month for, 15 years when they bought the policy. So I always tell families when I'm working with them, if they say, well, I don't know if mom or dad has long-term care insurance, I said, well, you'll most likely get something in the mail, at least yearly, probably quarterly, giving them an update. And you'll probably see a big hefty amount coming out of their bank account every month. That's the way that I've been able to tell families how to see, or quarterly. I've seen people pay quarterly too. Yearly is cheaper, but yeah, I think it ranges. I think this article is stating, I'm zooming in on it really quick, that it's, anywhere from, depends on it. I think a lot of factors go into it as well, whatever you're quoted.
Yeah. It gets into like, and one thing we'll get into, I didn't realize, I can skip down to it, just drop down here. This is how you can, how can someone know if long-term care insurance is right for them? I didn't know, they looked at the gender, quite honestly. I mean, I know females live longer than males, but I didn't realize that. Age, that was a given. Family circumstances, health, income, wealth, all that stuff. I get that. So I didn't know the gender piece. But yeah, getting back to what it's going to cost. If you're looking at this article, it says $165,000 worth of benefits, and this is in 2023. A 55-year-old male individual can look to pay about $900 on a month, throughout the year, right? That's throughout the year, not on a monthly basis. That can't be. It's got to be throughout. Is it a monthly basis or is it
really low? But that sounds low, but for the year, I'm not sure. It doesn't say here.
Let's say in 2023, the average annual premium for long-term care insurance with a value range between $900 for individuals between the ages of 55.
Okay.
I don't know, man. If that's a monthly basis, that's going to be a hard pill to
swallow. I don't think so. It's a low amount. I'd say 165 is like the lower policy that I've seen.
Yeah.
As far as because that only averages out probably to not even 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. But then you get into like a 55-year-old couple, 2080. Then you get into, and you see the 5-year jump from the male, 55. So if I don't do it pretty soon, I'm going to increase my premiums by $300. And if I wait to 65, then I just increase my premiums $1,500 on top of the 60. So obviously, sooner than later to get into the long-term care insurance, get that taken care of. But that is how much long-term care insurance costs. And my thing is, I know some people are going to struggle with this because Brittany, in practical everyday life, if somebody is already struggling with, living expenses, their budget is awfully close already in terms of getting down to the dollar. Guys, I've been there. I'm not there now. Thank God. I mean, I'm grateful, but I used to be there. And if somebody would say, yeah, man, just only an extra $1,500, that extra $1,500 might sink me. So do you really want to think through this, you guys out there? You want to make plans and preparation. If you fail to plan, what's the old adage? You fail to plan, you're going to fail, right? You got to have some preparation involved. If you don't, it's going to be awfully hard for you guys. And so I would encourage you, go ahead and put this into, depending on what age you are, let's say you're my age, 55, you already want to go ahead and start budgeting for it. Start putting that money aside. And maybe you have to wait a year or two. Maybe you have to wait until you're 57 to get it, but you've already started putting the money aside. So you already have it there. What are some struggles, Brittany, that you would think people, besides finances, maybe some of the excuses that people would have for not getting a long-term care insurance?
I would say probably a big one is they don't think they'll ever need it. I think a lot of people say, I'm staying in my home forever. I know that this article did not mention, but long-term care insurance does also usually help with in-home care. A lot of policies do. So you can stay home. But I think the main thing would be, I'll never need it. I'm living at home. I'm dying at home. The things we hear every day. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably the biggest, obstacle. But just a side note, I know we talked about the different policies. Every policy is different, and some policies do pay for in-home care, some don't. Some pay like a per day. I know we didn't dig too deep into that, but it might be a benefit amount, but you also they only pay so much per day. So there's a lot of times that the long-term care, even for that 2 to 3 years, won't even cover the full assisted living. So when you are shopping around, make sure that you're getting all of the details. But none of us think we'll end up in a position where we need help. We all hope that we live a great life and pass in our sleep one day and never have to go through any of this. But the odds are, in the fact state, there's a really good chance that you might need some assistance, and long-term care insurance, in my experience, has really been a make or break it, especially for someone that is not only getting Social Security, and who knows if we'll even have that by the time that I'm, 80, hopefully. So
yeah. I don't think you will, Brittany. That's my own personal experience. I've been hearing that now for the last 20 years, that it's going to go bye-bye, the Social Security. And I don't know. I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. I tell you
For sure.
that.
And it's
Yeah,
not
for
enough to
sure.
really make a difference anyway. So
Yeah.
it's really good to either, make sure if you don't have long-term care insurance, and if you are a senior placement advisor, or if you are wanting to start this business, it's very important that you know about long-term care policies, because you, as a senior placement agent, will be walking these families through this and how I can help seniors.
Yeah, it's an option because as a senior placement agent, you do so well, Brittany, and our students do as well, I believe, in terms of walking seniors and their families through programs that are out there. Guys, this is just one program that's out there. What I have done over the years, probably the last 3 years now, is when I'm talking to an adult kid, okay, adult kid, guys, kind of like me, all right, so 55, something like that. I got that person on the phone, got them online. We're talking about their loved one going to a care home or community. It's not uncommon for me to bring up long-term care insurance, and it's not really for their mom or their dad at that point. It's for them. So this is a great way. Hey, this is a pro tip. Okay. So if you stayed this long, you deserve a little pro tip. This will be a great way for you guys that are referral agents, people that are in the community, or you're aspiring to be one, and you want to know a good way to get some leads. Reach out to some insurance agents that handle long-term care policies for people. And then when you do have your interviews, your appointments, your online meetings or in person, and you're bringing this up to the families with permission, give that information to the insurance agent. He or she's more likely to get some information back to you of people that are getting ready to need it or should, need it, be using it pretty soon. So I'm telling you, it's a pro tip. It's worked for me. I got a guy in my area that I've known for a long time, actually my wife before me, but it just kind of really helped us out. It's a great way to get some leads. So guys, hopefully that was helpful for you guys today. Brittany, I can't be more excited about Senior Placement Institute. And man, I'm super excited about our students, super excited about a promo video, guys, that's coming out probably the next week or so. We'll kick that out. We did a whole thing a week and a half ago. Brittany, myself, my son, and a guy named Patrick, and a phenomenal guy with his gigantic camera and lights and the production crew and all that stuff. It was amazing. So we'll be kicking that out. But hey, until next time, God bless.